Salutations, fellow nerds. I'm Rick Y, the Wise Guy, and today is January 27th, 2025. It's a brand new week here in capitalist endgame America, and Donald Trump has finally betrayed the U.S. intentions in the Middle East, as he mentioned cleaning out Gaza and sending refugees to nations other than their own home. Also, the new defense secretary has laid out his strategies moving forward, which entail reinstating those who denied COVID vaccinations against direct orders and ending DEI initiatives in the Pentagon. So if you dig news, history, or humorous American hogwash, make sure to leave a blue heart in the comments for me. Sit a spell. Take your shoes off. This past Saturday, Donald Trump was speaking to reporters on Air Force One when he said that Israel should clean Gaza of its people, which is the first open declaration for ethnic cleansing of the area. He said, quote, "You're talking about probably 1.5 million people, and we just clean out that whole thing." At this point, to all of you who wanted so desperately for this to not be a word that ends with genocide, I fully understand that you didn't want to think that the leaders of Israel would be so openly hostile to Palestinians as to treat them the same way that they were treated in 1940s Germany. I get it. The Holocaust was awful and was a systematic extermination of human beings so as to cleanse Germany of what it considered a challenge to its racial, ethnic, and religious purity. And although Netanyahu hasn't set up the exact same methods that were used in places like Auschwitz and Dachau, the missions to rid the area of its Arabic residents and claim that territory as their own has been all too similar. Now we have Donald Trump himself, again, saying the quiet part out loud. He also said, and again I quote, "Over the centuries, that's many conflicts that sight," which implied that the only solution that he saw was one that did not involve one side of this very binary conflict. What I need to do is lay out some facts, and your opinion on it is kind of irrelevant at this point because I understand absorbing the reality of our time as it comes isn't as easy as working with hindsight. But Donald Trump told reporters that the official position of the United States is to work with the Israeli government to destroy or remove the identity of the Palestinian people. When a government helps another government in its extermination of a population to expand its power and reach, this is complicity in genocide. Netanyahu has made it clear that his policy moving forward is to eliminate Palestinians, annex Gaza, and construct what they have called a Greater Israel, so as to levy more influence and strength in the Middle East along both religious and ethnic lines. Since the start of the war, the IDF has killed over 70,000 Palestinians in Gaza, and the Biden administration has been supportive of these aims. From the outstart, the Biden administration has supported Israel politically, strategically, and defensively, while contrarily trying to maintain a position of wanting a two-state solution. I won't act as though I'm not aware of the gravity of the situation. At this point, it is impossible to say that the United States isn't engaged in war crimes, and the more we turn our eyes from it, the worse it will get. Don't try and work too hard to bend your way through the Trump-phrased goals of cleansing Gaza. On top of that, Trump's nominee for the UN ambassador, Elise Stefanik, went on record to claim that Israel had a biblical right to the entire West Bank. Meanwhile, members of his team are telling NBC journalists that their plan isn't secret. They have been openly discussing the relocation of Palestinian people in Gaza. Please stop being naive to the realities that we face right now. I'm not saying it's an easy thing to come to terms with, but it is the world that we live in. Israel and the United States are currently engaged in genocide, and they are doing so along theologic lines. If alarm bells aren't going off in your head and red flags aren't popping up everywhere, then I don't know where you've been since the fall of the Ottoman Empire. There is an Abrahamic religious war that's going on that isn't being communicated to you with the same star-spangled wink and grin our other wars were, because the powers involved know damn well of their atrocities. It's time you start recognizing them as well. Hear me when I say the war in Gaza ended when Trump was elected to office. While Biden started to scale back his military support, the Biden administration aims to ramp it up and help Israel absorb Palestinian territory through force and involuntary relocating efforts. While some people may believe that would end all of the turmoil there, I would say those people have no idea how terrorism works. and aren't recognizing that this will only make things worse when it comes to the already strained relationships that are found in the Middle East. Moving on, Pete Hegseth, the Trump administration's new DUI hire, is ending the practice of DEI policies in the Pentagon while reinstating 8,000 active duty troops after failing to follow direct orders when they refused to take the COVID vaccine, a project that began under Trump's first administration. They will be given full back pay for the time that they missed, which will award the troops with tens of thousands of dollars for having refused direct orders and made our military less safe. What kind of message this sends is we have officially politicized our military. The precedent set is that if a junior troop doesn't agree with a direct order because they're not politically aligned, they may choose not to follow it. This is detrimental to the chain of command and what is called esprit de corps. While many of the religious and medical exceptions were not discharged, this became a mantra of Republicans that the Biden administration was involved with religious discrimination. Trump and Hegseth are also going after DEI initiatives and have all but rescinded orders that would protect service members who are going through and receiving gender-affirming medical treatments. Some of these are hormonal shots that may need to be transferred to like an oral dose for deployment reasons. Others help protect those who have left the service to work for the federal government, who have disabilities. While the two who are leading this charge are mistaken that DEI is a racial quota program, the reality is that DEI policies protect and facilitate people of all races and genders. Currently, leadership in all branches are trying to formulate new policies going forward that will reflect the no-tolerance position that the Trump administration has taken on anything that he considers to be woke. Which means while groceries are already becoming a little bit more expensive and raids are taking place to deport members of our communities, Trump is busy with his retribution campaign against those who don't align with his politics, all the while increasing our complicity in the genocide of Palestinians. Another thing that just dropped is some of the staff members are currently engaged in trying to rid all of the CONUS bases in continental United States of their commissary program. And to my more conservative viewers out there, look, I understand some of you aren't cult members and instead find more loyalty in the Republican Party. And that's why you made the decisions that you made this year. Some of you may very well be as horrified by the current state of affairs as the rest of us. Don't think you aren't welcome in this resistance, because if anything, you won't only be welcome, you will be needed going forward. Voices in the streets need to be from throngs of a unified working class who won't tolerate the conservative theocratic beguiling of the American people. We need to stand firm with humanity, decency, and moral values. Don't think for a second that if you regret your vote for Trump that you will have to face ridicule. The only people who deserve indignation are those who refuse to learn from those mistakes and double down on their abhorrent behaviors. Fight with us. Resist with us. Your unity, our numbers, and our persistence is our power, and it threatens them more than you think. If you don't agree, refer to the Me Too movement. Unity is strength, and apes together strong. Until next time, Internet fam, hit me up with some of those blue hearts in the comment section. Y'all come back now. You hear?